So final round of the 8 o'clock spot. This is the first. We usually say the top 2-point getters, but as it happened, again, we got two guys tying there, so this should be fun. Final round rules. Again, this is a winner take all. The winner gets 10,000 points and really puts themselves in position to really move up the leaderboards fast and quick. The loser comes home empty-handed. So 2 people today will come home empty-handed, and somebody will come home with 10,000 points, and the winner of this episode and put themselves in a good spot in the standings. We'll move on to a game involving Alfred's Jets, and we actually talked about this on the 8 o'clock spot very early, one of our earlier shows, if not our first show. Sean Payton ripped Nathaniel Hackett, former head coach of the Broncos, to the media before the season started, saying it was the worst coaching job he's ever seen in the history of the National Football League. And here comes Nathaniel Hackett, now the OC of the Jets. And the Jets walk into Denver, walking the mile high. The defense plays great. Russell has a bad game up until a little bit of the fourth quarter, but then he fumbles the game away. Zach Wilson, aside from a red zone interception, was pretty good throughout most of the day. Breece Hall played well. So a good win by the Jets. Keep themselves sort of on that pace to potentially steal a wild card spot. But they get revenge on Nathaniel Hackett. So I'll start this time with, they get revenge on Sean Payton, rather. So I'll start with you, Eric. Do you think that Sean Payton is doing a worse coaching job this year? I didn't think this was possible than Nathaniel Hackett did in 2022.
No, I can't say that. He obviously hasn't done a very good job, but last year with Hackett was just like something that I don't know if any of us have ever seen something like that. And the fact that it seemed like every game for the first 10 weeks was on primetime, that didn't help the fact either. The whole nation was seeing it, which probably piled on a little bit with Hackett's Broncos. But no, I don't think Payton's been that bad. I haven't seen as many common sense lapses, I guess you could say, or just terrible game management. I feel like with the Broncos this year, their defense has just taken a massive step back, which is really confusing to me. I don't really get it. I thought they were going to be a very solid defense again. They have had some injuries, but I still thought they'd be okay. I think most of the blame goes on Russ. I am not a Russ guy at all. I think when you're the quarterback of an NFL football team, you've got to be inspiring. You've got to be a leader. You've got to be one of the guys. They have to be able to rally around you. And I think Russ is the opposite of all of those things. And it kind of just deflates the whole mood of everybody in that locker room. And it just kind of gives everybody less hope. The guy that they're following is just a deadbeat, doesn't even give his teammates his phone numbers. And his confidence got absolutely zapped last year. And to be fair, Russ hasn't been playing as bad as he did last year, besides the Jets game. But at the end of the day, I just think he's not a leader. He's not a great teammate. And when your quarterback is not those things, it's hard to be a good team in this league.
Considering some of the things coming out of Seattle ever since he left there, from Beast Mode, from Richard Sherman, from Pete Carroll, from KJ Wright was making some comments last year. Yeah, that definitely validates what you're saying about the leadership struggles there by Russ. I'll go to you now, Devin. Do you think Sean Payton, who I think we'd all agree here is going to the Hall of Fame whenever he retires, 5 years after he retires, he's going to Canton in all likelihood. Do you think Sean Payton is actually doing a worse job this year than Nathaniel Hackett did a year ago?
He's doing the same exact job, but just a little bit better than Nathaniel Hackett. And don't get me wrong, in the X's and O's, Nathaniel Hackett was just terrible. You know what I mean? He did not really know how to manage a game, and you can just tell that, that was his first year being a head coach. Let's go to Sean Payton. I'm not a big Sean Payton fan. I'm really not. I'm not a guy that really quits on his team when things wasn't going right down in New Orleans, and then you come up into Denver and you expect things to go just your way. No, my guy. Did you pay attention to the Broncos last year? It was a lot of things other than Nathaniel Hackett that was going sideways. As my man Eric just said, Russ was the top thing of things going sideways for the Denver Broncos. What did Sean Payton do when he came? As soon as he came as the head coach for the Denver Broncos, he called out Russ. Stop doing this. You shouldn't be kissing babies. You're not being a politic. The man is trying to sell tickets. He's trying his best to get the whole Bronco nation to still come there. So, yes, he needs to go ahead and kiss babies, shake a little bit of hands, be in the public so he can get these people, so he can be like, hey, I'm lying to you, but come pay our salary so we can make sure that we can keep the Denver Broncos relevant. Sean Payton, no, you come in here, you want to say, oh, this is wrong, and this, you want to throw the tablet, you want to keep calling your quarterback. No, my guy, that's not the way, as Eric just said, leadership. It's not how you're supposed to lead your team. So I think that Sean Payton he has not did a better job than what Nathaniel Hackett did last year. You come into a team that's roster is not constructed really that good. You lose your top pass rusher in Randy Gregory, who said, "No, I want out. I'm done. I don't want to be in this shit show no more." So I feel like Sean Payton, man, he's not doing a good job. He's not really doing a better job than Nathaniel Hackett.
Interesting. I had never thought about the aspect about how he left New Orleans when things were starting a little shaky there. Maybe who knows with Derek Carr now where they'd be if he was still there, but we'll never know. To you, Alfred. Finally, again, this involves your team, so I think this would hit you different given the fact that Nat Hackett is now your offensive coordinator with Zach Wilson at quarterback. Do you think that Sean Payton has actually managed to do a worse job at the Broncos this year than Nathaniel Hackett did in 2022?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is, keep my offensive coordinator's name out of your mouth. That's number one. Number two, Sean Payton, he won a Super Bowl with the Saints, but he's always been a guy. He quit on his team early. He got caught up in scandals, putting bounties on other players. And now he wants to criticize the incumbent that he took over from. He's on pace to actually do worse than Nathaniel Hackett. You look at the games that they played this year, 5 games already. They're 1-4. The only win came against a rotten Chicago Bears team that couldn't hold on to a lead. They've struggled with the Commanders. They lost to the lowly Raiders on opening night. They got mollywopped by 50 points by the Dolphins. I mean, Sean Payton so far through 5 weeks has nothing to be proud about, nothing to hang his hat on, and should be embarrassed. And again, people are going to say, oh, they came back from the Bears. Yeah, but the Bears are rotten, so one rotten team beat another. Somebody had to win that game. So you want to talk about Nathaniel Hackett? Nathaniel Hackett didn't have much to work with last year. If everybody remembers, Jerry Jeudy was injured most of the year, and they acquired a quarterback whose claim to fame he's still hanging on from a Super Bowl win from 10 plus years ago, who's not the same quarterback since he left Pete Carroll's system and got exposed. Russell Wilson is a system quarterback. Pete Carroll's system obviously worked for many, many years, and now he's in a new place with new players. As we've heard, he's not the most sociable teammate. He'd rather hang out on social media with his famous wife than hang out with his teammates after practice. So I mean, and then again, they just traded Randy Gregory, who was their best defensive lineman. So I mean, Sean Payton will be probably lucky if he gets 2 more wins this season. I mean, that team is probably at the bottom in the cellar of the AFC West. I don't think they're better than the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Chiefs and whoever else is in that division. But again, he wanted to criticize Nathaniel Hackett. Because remember, Robert Saleh is a defensive-minded coach. Nathaniel Hackett calls the shots on offense. That's why Breece Hall ran for 107.
10 seconds left, Al.
Boys. So yeah, I think he has potential to do worse than Nathaniel Hackett this year. Sorry, I'm just passionate because I got to keep my offensive coordinator's name out of my mouth.
I understand. Hey, you're taking it for your guy. I respect that. Listen, he's done a decent job given the situation, given the offensive line, and given Zach Wilson there. So I give you
his defense is so bad to make Zach Wilson look like a decent quarterback.
Well, look, Zach played well against a good Kansas City's defense. To be fair, but I see where you're coming from. A few comments here, and then we'll get to our winner. Let's see. Clint Alexander has a solution. He says, next time you have a tiebreaker question for advances to the last round, whoever answers first advances. So maybe like a trivia question. I don't know. We'll get that ironed out for the 8 o'clock spot next week. There's no question about it. There's a lot of comments that agree with kind of what y'all are saying. But we do have a winner in the very first and who knows, potentially only 3 panelist final round in the history of the 8 o'clock spot. The winner for this week is somebody who has won before in the history of the 8 o'clock spot. Alfred Parsard Jr. is your champion of the 8 o'clock spot this week. How you feeling, Al?
Pretty good. I know I said that Sean Payton should keep Nathaniel Hackett's name out of his mouth. But I'm calling out Barry Grant Jr. He needs to come back to this show so I can whoop him one more time.
Thanks. Shots fired at the points leader, Barry Grant Jr. But yeah, Alfred is our champion. I'll start with you, Eric. Super fast, man. How you feeling? First episode of the show.
Man, I was a little nervous at first, can't lie, but it was a great time chopping it up with y'all. I hope I can be back. Hopefully my work schedule allows it. And I'm just going to fire off a crazy take before I leave. I would trade away Micah Parsons if it got me Caleb Williams right now, just because I never think Dak's going to get him over the hump. And I think the Cowboys roster is as good as it could possibly be without, minus the quarterback position. So I think you've got to do something. That's my crazy take.
That is an insane take. I'm just telling you right now, Eric. Devin, again, the losses just pile up, man. Your Orioles are struggling. Your Ravens lost to my Steelers. Now you lose the 8 o'clock spot. It's not been good for you and your teams, man. Your reaction?
I just can't get rid of the sickness. I just can't get rid of it, boy. I tell you, you just can't let me shine, man. It's just a stormy day in Maryland.
Yeah. That's a fact. Hey, listen, that's a fact. It's rough days, but you know what? You'll come back. I know you will. You're a great participant. So is Eric and Alfred. Once again, the champion. I think we have the leaderboard. Let me go in and load it here real quick before we get out of here. I've been able to update it at max speed, super fast. Here we go. I think we've got it. Because you are catching up to Barry, Alfred. I'm just going to tell you right now, you are gaining on the man who likes to call himself the wrench. Is this it right here? Okay, there you go. Alfred's in second place, retaining his second place spot, 35,000 points, gaining on Barry Grant Jr. It's getting a little dicey. I'm just saying right now. Then you got Devin is still in third place, followed by Mike, Dalton, Adam, John Rivera, Alex Johnson. There you are, Eric. Getting on the leaderboard though. You're on the leaderboard. Chance to maybe come back in the future and make it happen. But that is all we have for the 8 o'clock spot. Be sure to catch us next week. Next Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time, right here on the Grid Network's YouTube channel, as well as on Twitter. You got some great contestants, great stuff as always. We hope to see you next week. Hope to have another great game next week. Once again, congratulations, Alfred. Great job to Eric and to Devin once again. And until next week on the 8 o'clock spot, we will see you then. God bless you all. Peace out. And big trust, Devin. Big trust, ladies and gentlemen. Big trust.